if you
So
want to
yeah,
achieve this, this is where you go to start type thing.
exactly.
You
Yep.
know what I love about that is really two things. First of all, when you talk about the difference between sending all buy emails and then when you actually nurture your list with value,
Yes.
it becomes a situation with which I got this saying from Russell Brunson. It becomes a matter of it's not if they're going to buy from you, it's when they're going to buy from you. And that's
Nailed
how
it.
I've run my business
Yes.
for the last 8 years. And that's why
Perfect.
sometimes I make sales that people met me today virtually, and sometimes I make sales from someone who's been on my list for 4 years. And guess what? When you have
Absolutely.
both going,
Exactly.
that's how you hit those numbers stress free or with as little stress as possible in this game because you're playing the
Absolutely.
long game. So I love that. The other thing I
Yeah.
love is the way you populate those videos inside a
Hmm.
page with their affiliate link right underneath it because those
Yes.
pages right there are my highest converting pages and my highest
Exactly.
converting emails. And it nurtures your list because it educates them, it excites them, it gives value, but then it reduces all the friction by putting the buy button, the next step that
Yes.
matches the call to action right below it. And those nothing
Yeah.
converts better in my opinion.
100%. No, totally. And something that's really helpful for somebody who's like me is I feel I have always felt like it's difficult to create something from absolutely nothing, but I find it much easier and better to build onto something else that already exists. And that you like in I think that's how most people create, but I think that when you don't know the source of the inspiration, that appears to a third party person like, oh, you're the most creative person ever. And it's like, well, no, you just don't know what inspired them. Like you're not familiar with their sources, that type of thing. Not to diminish it. I mean, that's how that's how creativity usually works. And I think it's amazing. But it oftentimes appears more magical than it is if you don't have all the pieces, is what I'm getting at. But this is a great system building on what you were talking about, where instead of sitting there looking at a blank screen of, oh, I have to write a year worth of emails, it's like, no, you don't. We have it. You just get people on the list and stuff is going to happen. Like you're good to go. But look at these, learn how they work. Just start by adding in one of your own, which we make it super easy where you can just add some in and it will kind of alternate back and forth between the pre-made ones and yours. And it's just all as automatic as can be. Um, but I find it much less daunting, and I definitely would have, going back to first starting and everything, if it was just like, well, here's a system that's running. Do you want to just build on this little thing? Do you want to write up one message that's like this or something like that? It's like, well, yeah, I can do that. But then you're plugging it in. And over time, now you're building a thing that's Jonathan's business cloned, but has all of your add ons in there. And then it's super, super, super powerful. But at least you have something functioning as it should on day one without doing all that. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's important too because that's what most people, most marketers, most affiliate marketers don't see when they first come into this game is or they don't have an appreciation for the time it takes to build the backlog of content because that's what really drives the exponential growth is the fact that hey, you can go watch a video of me or go watch a video of Jonathan from a year ago, but you can also watch one from 2 days ago and a week ago, and all that stuff is important. You need this
Yeah.
backlog to have a really good brand that's capable of nurturing long term. And I think that's really cool because people can just tap into that year's worth of content that's already been
Yeah.
created and not have to worry about, okay, what am I going to do now after my initial automation sequence runs out? Because that gets neglected a lot. So you've allowed people to tap into
Way
that
more frequently than people would even think, I tell you.
or care to admit probably
Oh,
and it
yeah.
keeps it congruent
Yeah.
too because it's coming through Jonathan, right? And
Yeah.
you're tapping
Exactly.
into that, so that's helpful. It's not
Yeah.
just oh, who's this guy again? Oh, what's this,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? So it's really powerful stuff. So obviously this really fills a need. This is not a product that was created to sell something and overcome objections. This is something that can actually help people hit the ground
Exactly.
running and get
Yeah.
that start. Like I said, that changes the game. That first commission doesn't matter how big or small, it will change your life.
Yeah.
Assuming you like it and fall in love with the process, which is really what it's all about. So
Absolutely.
someone can get started. Obviously, we'll have links to this down below in the show notes
Perfect.
and the YouTube description to go check it out and learn a little bit more.